Hi there, I'm Jay Skinner. This is the Buyers and Sellers Show, the pre-show. I'm happy to play a couple songs or play a little bit. We try to get started right about 10:35 Eastern Time. And this is for all people, really, because everybody is a buyer and a seller at one point or another. Today we're going to have Eli Skinner. He's a successful real estate guy, investor. He's my son, and I'm real proud of the work that he's done and the accomplishments that he's made. And he helps a lot of people. I learn from him, and I hope you will too. We'll go fast. There's a lot of stuff, so take notes or plan to watch this over again because we're going to hit a lot of things. Day by day, day by day. Oh dear Lord, three things I pray. To see thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly. Day by day, day by day, by day, by day, by day. And we're live. How about that? That goes back a couple years. That was the first time that Eli was on my show, and I'm here. I'm Jay Skinner, and you are live with me on the Buyers and Sellers Show. We kick it off a little bit early and give everybody a chance to get on. We've got a good group of people already here, and this is fantastic. So glad you made it. So what's the point of today's show? Well, Eli's been on my show. The last time was almost 3 years ago. Can you believe it? Or a couple of years ago for sure. And he's grown and gone, done lots of really cool things. And today we're going to bring Eli to catch us up on where he has been, what he's done, how things have gone. And so here we are with Eli Skinner.
What's happening? Can you hear me all right?
I'm all right.
Can you hear my celebratory chicken okay?
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. And what do you do?
That's my celebratory chicken. Well, you know, if somebody does something really great, they want to come in and give it a squeeze, they can, because it's hilarious and we all enjoy it.
Man, that's
celebratory
fun.
chicken.
It's like ringing the bell.
Yeah, we all need a celebratory chicken, or like, you know, the bell at Arby's, right? You ring when you give them, they give good service, they all cheer. There we go.
Yep, I like it. And look who's here, Sharon Hoffmeister.
Howdy.
Now, she's saying good morning. She wouldn't miss this for anything. Now, Sharon has gone live every day for like 1 billion days. It's like into years now and never missed a day. Sharon, how many days is it? Let us know for your business, Reveal Products. How about that? Anyway, Eli, here we are.
Yeah.
We're on the Buyers and Sellers Show, and you're doing creative real estate, home sales, today's market. And at the same time, people probably could learn how to make money and do some things like you do. And
Sure.
So give us a little bit of a catch up of where you've been and where you are now.
Golly. Okay. So, you know, 5.5 years ago, went from real estate investing for myself and winning in real estate since 2010 to helping. So 2018 started helping other people win in real estate. And the vast majority of that, it still is, but the vast majority of that then specifically was a little bit of real estate investing for me, but primarily helping retail buyers and sellers. These are, you know, the normal people that we think about, right? Buying and selling their houses they live in, their primary residence. So that's where we started 5.5 years ago, and it blew up. It was really, really great. Super blessed. Almost blessed too much, right? Too much of a good thing is still too much. And we had a little bit of that go on and some mental health stuff. But then, you know, a lot of things are under control, but we have really problem solving, I guess, is one of my things. So kind of as we seek to solve problems and those solutions show up, they're definitely not normal. And when they get outside of normal, you find out why normal is normal, because it's more difficult, but it's also fun if you've got the right personality. And so we turned into doing, a lot more real estate investing, a lot more helping others do real estate investing. A lot of creative finance is kind of my new shtick that I think is very, I say new. I've been doing it for a number of years, but I really continue to dive deeper and deeper into some wild stuff. And it's really helping not only me and my team win and my clients win at times, but it's helping investors all over the country win as well. So pretty neat stuff. Everything, private lending and different ways to purchase homes that are way outside the norm, considering the market changes that have occurred.
That's interesting. As you talk about this, I mean, you're living in a world that it's like you own a lot of houses now,
Right.
and rentals and flips and other things like that. You can feel free to talk about how much of that you want to. But what I want to know is, how can we take what you've learned up to this point and where you are now to help our viewers today?
Yeah, that's a good question. One is just I met a guy last night. He's a wannabe investor, right? He's a little bit of a wantrepreneur, which means, the idea of being an entrepreneur, we talked about it last time, is, everybody wants to be their own boss and control their time. And then they wake up one day realizing they're a terrible boss and their clients control their time. So, but he's a wantrepreneur, but a great guy. And I think we can turn him into an entrepreneur. It just takes a little bit of encouragement and a little bit of removing the veil or the insecurities, and pairing up. And one of the best ways to do that is to do joint ventures. And I do a lot of those. We just closed 2 joint ventures, one in Georgia and one in North Carolina. I'm sitting here in Indianapolis, Indiana, doing business across the country in real estate. That's not abnormal, actually. It's abnormal to most of our listeners, right? It's abnormal to most people, but in the real estate investing world, that's not abnormal. But, joint venturing with me, if you've got money to lend, you call me. We can deploy it. We can joint venture together. If you've got a house you want to get, but you don't know what to do, you just know that, your brother-in-law is going to sell you his old junky rental that he doesn't want anything to do with. Great. Get with me. My brains, maybe my money, joint venture with you, and your house availability turns into something. So it's really this constant conversation. I mean, I've got a list sitting beside me, right? I mean, I'm not going to show it to you, but right here, of private money lenders. They're guys. I just started writing them out on this paper. I mean, I've got 12 people that are looking between 50 and $1 million that they would potentially want to deploy for good returns. And so we would partner together and make that happen. So just did 2 of those last week.
Wow, Eli. So people that are listening here that may not really know a lot about real estate and investing, but maybe they have some money, then they might want to just get in contact with you and explore some possibilities of working together, where maybe you combine what you know and what they've got into something that'll work for both of you and make it a both win type of situation.
That's exactly what I present to people, because, the people I'm looking at on that list are business owners. I mean, they're this group of people, or at least a decent chunk of this group of people, right, that are listening. They're business owners, or they did really well, or they inherited some money. They're most of these guys are invested, right? They're in the stock market. They're in their business. They own a house. They may own rentals. But they're going, how can I do the next thing? And they don't have time, knowledge, whatever. They're missing a component to be able to just do it all on their own. And so I go, hey, I got a house here. I can't, in the small screen, I can't use my hands. I got a house here that needs to be flipped, and I can use my own money. But why? Because here's the thing: I'm going to pay Chase Bank, or I'm going to pay you. One of you is going to get interest. Why wouldn't it be my friends? Why wouldn't it be, the people that want to do business together. Let's win as a human race and not necessarily I'm nothing against Chase Bank. All my accounts are with them, but I'm just saying I'm going to pay somebody a bunch of money to loan me money. Might as well be you. Why not you? And that's what and then they're looking for diversification. It's mortgage backed, loans. So they're secure. I mean, it's great. It's just a good option to diversify your portfolio. When you got 100 grand sitting in your bank account, or heck, even these CDs that are going at 5%, that's great, or the money markets. But I mean, we're putting people in 15% APR sometimes. That's just an example. Can't promise anything. I'm not selling securities. I promise you. I'm just helping connect money to people.
Yeah. And you work with people, and I put up here, and I'll do it again. Contact, you can get a hold of Eli by modern REIG at gmail.com, or just call or text his cell phone. That's his cell phone, and get a conversation going. His company is called Modern Real Estate Investors Group. Is that right? Is that how it's called?
Yep. That's one of them. You got it. Modern Real Estate Investing. Yep. And that's I just put my email address in the comments for y'all too, just for fun.
There you go.
But that's a good way to get conversations started. So I can't always answer my phone because we're running like chickens with their head cut off. But yeah, that's a rabbit hole, man, of exciting ways to invest money. That's a real fun one. And I started it, interestingly enough. I mean, it's interesting to me at least. I started because I wanted to be a borrower of private funds. Right. I wanted to borrow Jay Skinner's money to flip a house and pay him, 10% interest and a guaranteed of 3 months or whatever it is. But I knew that this is a couple of years ago now. I knew that I didn't understand your shoes. I wouldn't understand the way you felt. I wouldn't understand your fear. I wouldn't understand your emotions about, man, I just want my money back, which is a terrible investor mindset, but we all have that. We all like, well, when do I get my money back? Well, hopefully never, because that's what compound interest is for. You know what I mean? But you'll get your cash back, right? So you have all these fears. And so what I did was I went onto the lending side first. I became a lender. I worked with my lawyers, got all the paperwork, the notes, the mortgages, figured out the lending side so I could put my $50,000
so
out.
You became like a bank. You became like a bank yourself.
I became the bank because I wanted to know when I ask you for money, what you feel like. Mm-hmm. And so I put my money out. I got scared. I experienced sitting at home, collecting checks, doing absolutely nothing while I, eat bonbons and watch Oprah. Like, I experienced the good stuff. I experienced the bad stuff. And then I developed the paperwork needed, at least for Indiana, and I worked with lawyers across the country as needed. And then we switched. And now I'm both, right? Now I'm still a lender, but I'm also a borrower of private money. But I can, what would you call that? I can resonate with your side of it because I've done a bunch of it now. That's what my goals.
Super. So we got some more comments here. First of all, Sharon said, now this is news to me. She said she's gone 1,532 consecutive days. But 1535 is going to be her last day because Amanda, that's the owner of the company that she works for, is closing the company. Oh my gosh. Well, Sharon, let's talk. You've got such a following. You developed this. I hate to see it stop. Maybe you need to switch over, and maybe you've already thought about that. Find another company that you can keep doing your online sales with and don't lose what you got. And you, of course, own thesharonhoffmeister.com. So keep that up. And then look who else is here. Sister Susan, my sister, your Aunt Susan from Los Angeles is jumping in there and saying hi. Now, I know I have a lot more people online than that. And if people want to make comments and say hi or ask questions, this is a good time. Or be sure and catch Eli's telephone number and information right here for after the show. Okay. So, Eli, when we're talking about doing business like you're doing, you also have a side. If someone just wants to sell their house, you have a company that's still doing that, right? Tell me about that.
Oh yeah. That's still our primary. I would call that, interestingly enough, I would call that my day job. My day job is still running a real estate team in Indiana. working with hundreds of people a year to buy and sell their primary houses, or some investors, just kind of normal stuff. I mean, you think of a realtor or your real estate agent, right? That's what we do primarily. My team handles a lot of it, which is exactly how it should be. So they're amazing. There's 3 of them and a transaction coordinator that work full time with us. So that's huge. And so, yeah, if you're in central Indiana, that's where we focus, north, south, east, west, Indianapolis, all that right there. I'm not going up to, or going down to Evansville, because I'll get you an agent in Evansville that's really good, that I've vetted, So yeah, that's still what we do. And that's where all the crazy stuff was birthed, was out of that and solving problems that come up during that. Right. So you get to closing, and I don't want to share too much, but there's scenarios where you need money and you can't close because the bank won't allow you to use some of the funds in your account because they didn't come in the appropriate way, and the government's looking for money laundering, so making sure you're not doing that. And so sometimes funds are not available, and we have figured out how to make sure funds are legal and available, and your lender loves it and loves us, because now you're closing a deal. And that's the creative side, right? That all showed up because we were working the retail side. We ran into problems, try to fix them, and that's the fun part.
Yeah, and that's another thing about your group is, and you're my son, and we understand negotiating and contracts and sales and all the different things that go into it. You're not a bad person to have on someone's side of the table when it comes to negotiating and contracts. Tell people a little bit about your approach to that.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I try not to talk bad about other real estate agents, but I do want you to interview them as a buyer's agent. Don't use me because I'm your son, right? Don't use your aunt because it's your aunt. Don't use your friend because you just got a license, you want to support them. I'm into supporting the people we love, but like, buy cookies from them for Girl Scouts, right? Don't buy a $500,000 house with them when they, like, maybe you do, right? But interview them. Like, so that's the big deal. I have studied and studied and studied. I have lawyers on retainer. I have it all, the total package, and inspectors and contractors and all that stuff. And we've read the contracts. We know them inside and out. We've been to court multiple times with the problems that you will absolutely, at least possibly, face. And we win every single time. I'm not an attorney. I've got them, but we always win because we know the contracts and we actually know the law. And most real estate brokers, and if you're out there listening, you're a real estate broker, you use this as an encouragement, not me dissing on you. But if you don't read the purchase agreement and you don't know those 8 pages like the back of your hand, you will be taken advantage of by me. Not because I'm a turd ball, but it's because we know how to write them. We know how to read them. We know how to use the language appropriately, right? And so I just say, be careful. But that's the contracts and negotiations. Again, I'm an encourager of agents to negotiate for their clients, when in reality, most of the time agents do this. Oh, let me check with my client. Hey, do you want to take $250 for your house? No, you'll do $245. Okay. He said he'd do, or sorry, $255. Yeah, he'd do $255. We'll see if he'll do this. Let me check with my client. Like, no, we don't check with our clients. I mean, I can't sign a paper for you, but I'm going to figure out a way to negotiate, right? I'm not just passing around information. So agents, be encouraged. Go figure out how to kill it. Figure out how to fight. Get some fire under you. Don't just fill in blanks and cash checks.
Right on. I love it. I love it. So as we're talking about these things here, you're a really busy guy, and people that want to do business with you can get in touch with you. And I've showed your phone number and information, but you and I were talking earlier about busy people. And the reason that you could share with everybody here has to do with communicating with you, feeling secure or insecure about our relationship and what goes on there, and how to interpret your response or lack thereof to communications in your world when you're talking to people. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. That's one of the things. I'll give you this, the way I approach something, so this will help make sense.
Mhm.
If I was, Dad, if I was talking to you and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to have Billy call you, Eli," I'd say, "Great. Have Billy shoot me a text first, because I want to make sure that um, I want to make sure that he knows I'm not ignoring him when I don't pick up his phone call. I want him to, and just let him know Eli's crazy busy. Shoot him a text, give him a call. If you don't hear from him in a couple hours, do it again. He's impossible to annoy. But I would tell your friend, because I don't want him to feel like I'm ignoring him or I'm not paying attention or he's not important. It's just the way it is. I'm busy, right?
Yeah,
Everybody's busy. So that's not just me. And
true.
so my encouragement to, when we were talking was, there are people, and you're one of them, that you're not always going to answer my phone call. You're doing a show. You're whatever you're right. You're doing your thing. And
Yeah.
I would always encourage whoever when you're dealing with busy people, and think about yourself too, because you're busy as well. How can you communicate to people that you still care about them?
Yes.
But don't, take personal offense or try to determine your value to that other busy individual based on their reciprocity of communication.
Let's
Like,
stop right there. Don't take offense or value your relationship with that in individual based upon reciprocity of communication. Wow, what a great saying. And so if I'm inclined towards feeling insecure, if people don't call me back or relate to me
mhm.
the way I want, I need to get over my insecurity and just understand that you have a timeline and I'm important to you, but at the same time, you can't always within your life respond to me how I wish you would be responding. But it doesn't mean you don't like me.
That's right.
It just means what? What does it mean?
It means that, well, one, for the person like in your situation on your side of the conversation, you're trying to get a hold of me. It
Hmm.
means that you found yourself in a situation where your level of need, desire, whatever is higher than mine. And then that you found yourself in a spot where you're more available. If you can call me 5 or 6 times a day, you're way more available than I am. And so it's hard to do. We all incline ourselves towards, or are inclined, I guess, towards just, being self-conscious, right? Oh, my best friend doesn't answer my phone calls. What, that's okay. Like, my relationship with him is not in question based on his reciprocity of communication. In that moment, I had a 10 minute window, gave him a call. He didn't answer. Okay, no big deal. He doesn't call me back. Do I get all mad and hurt? I hope not, right?
No,
He'll
right.
call me back or he won't. One of the other components of being an entrepreneur, and that I tell everybody around me when I'm working with them, my assistants or my agents or other real estate agents or other investors or my contractor, I got to be mommed to death. I've got so many plates spinning. I need that constant ding, 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 right? One of my the woman that helps me with my rental management, right? I don't know, bunch of houses. That's a lot of work, but
Mhm.
only at given times. But I told her one time, I said, your job is not to make sure I do whatever you need, right? So let's say she needs me to call somebody or fill out this form or pay this bill or whatever, or make this decision. Your job is not to make sure I make the decision. Your job is to constantly ring the bell. That's your job. Ring the bell. Eli, I need you to do this. Eli, I need you to do this. Eli, I need you to do this. That's what I'm paying you for. I'm not paying you to make sure I pay the bill or do the job. I'm paying you to ring a bell because that's what I need help with. Right. So again, that's another piece of that is, and I take that into the next phase of this communication, right? I don't call you back. I don't get your text right away. I have another friend. Right? He texted me like 4 times over the last 2 days. I didn't get back to him until this morning. I'm not a jerk, but what I loved is that he kept texting me. I need to be mom to death. So what you do is you just text the next guy, text him again, call him again, leave him an email. Because if he's busy, if he doesn't have the self-awareness to realize that he needs to be mommed to death, then you may have another conversation on your hands. But
Mhm.
that's my thing. I tell people regularly, you cannot annoy me. You need to call, text, email as many times as you need to. It is a-okay, and I will get back to you when I can.
Yeah.
But I
And
like that
that's good
constant
insight.
pinging.
Yep. And those constant pinging help you. And I know from experience with other busy guys like you that they're in the same situation, and they're not sitting around being mad at the guy that's trying to get in touch with them. They're just going 100 miles an hour, doing the best that they possibly can, trying to
Yeah.
line things up. And when they get back to you, they will. And those people that want your attention and need your time in order to move things forward, that are persistent, are going to benefit the most from the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course you could run into the busy guy that's kind of just a jerk, and that exists, of course. What are you
Mhm.
going to do? You can't do it. And you don't get hurt about that. He's a jerk. Like, why does that bother you? Right? That's
Yep.
not your problem. But most of us that have a general love for people and understand that you're dinging me 20 times a day over this one thing is because it's important to you.
Yes.
And it's now, and so because it's important to you, it's important to me. I just have to find the time to be able to come back so I can give you my attention. Right? Do you want me to call you back when I'm trying to have this, like I'm on the phone with you while I'm doing this show? Like, no, that'd be silly. So let me get done with the show. Let me catch a break, and then I'll call you. It's okay if you've called me 10 times in the meantime.
There you go.
I'm not saying I'm the busiest guy. I'm just saying that's how I approach it and how I try to communicate to others that when I don't answer, just keep hitting me up because I'm coming. Just may not be on your timeline.
And I want to add to that that those of you that are inclined towards feeling insecure when you're not getting the attention you want in any kind of relationship, check that. Just go ahead
Yeah.
and feel comfortable in your own skin and who you are and what you are, and feel confident and keep moving forward. And don't let your insecurity block your ability to move forward and make progress. And that's another element to this on the other side of this whole conversation. Now, Eli, I would like you to take a
Mm.
couple minutes here, and we're wrapping up, for you just to
Okay.
talk to our people. And really, we've got a great audience here of business owners and people from all around the world. And the fact is that you can work with people everywhere. You're not restricted to just Indiana when it comes to working together in joint ventures, and doing the things that you do and helping people make some money and be successful in real estate. Why don't you just take a minute to talk about what you do and what your thoughts are and the message you'd like to give them, and I'll step back into the green room and let you go. Okay? Does it sound like a winner?
Okay. What
Okay.
do I need to say when I'm done? What's the safe word?
This the safe word is you take a big long breath, and it sounds like you're done to me. Here we go.
Okay, got it. All right. So the number one way that I can be of service to you in especially the United States, or doing, I'm not going to do business necessarily right now outside the US, like buying houses, those sorts of things, but inside the US, the easiest ground floor ways are: one, loan money to people. I can help you do that. You can loan it to me. We can loan it to other people, but be a private money lender. Um, it's not as scary as it seems. That's number one. You can have some massive returns. I've seen, yeah, I won't even go into it. I mean, like, just astronomical, doubling your money in 60 days or 6 months. Okay. So it's been crazy. Sometimes it's 10%, sometimes 8%, whatever it is, right? It's a give and take. It's offer, it's sales. You're gonna negotiate through some of that. That's a ground floor way. If you've got money but don't have the time or the know-how to figure out how to buy your own houses, find somebody else who's buying houses and loan them money at a great interest rate. Because again, like I said, they're going to pay somebody. It might as well be you. It's silly for your money to sit on the sidelines. That's one way. The other one is find houses. This is, again, we're in real estate. I don't do anything outside of it, from a business perspective. Find houses. So the conversation I had last night was, the hard part in real estate and probably any sales is the who and the house. For me, that's the right product to make money on, and who I can communicate to be the buyer, sell it, right? The hardest part is finding. I could be the best real estate, smartest legal investor. I could have all this brain stuff. I'm not saying I do. I'm saying I could, right? I could be the best guy on the planet. If I don't have a who or a house, it is no good. No good at all. So if you can fix that for somebody else, if you're focused on helping somebody else win, if you found the house or you found the who, right? You know a guy that wants to lend money, you connect him to me. That's huge. And we can help you make money through that relationship. Or you found the house and you're like, I need to buy it. Or, hey, Eli, I don't want to buy this, but maybe you could, right? You're focused on helping me win. Now, all of a sudden, you're making money in this relationship. Then you can completely partner and do joint venture stuff. But I would say, and my message is, the hard part of this game and probably any entrepreneurial sales adventure is the who. I say for real estate, the who and the house. Those are the two things that are hard. Money's really pretty easy to come by, right? Knowledge is pretty easy to come by. There's stuff that's easy to come by, but the who in the house, not easy. So if you can focus on helping somebody else win, I'm almost done, Dad. If you can help somebody focus on helping somebody else win by helping them find the who and the house, you're going to be very successful, and we can all go along together. So there you go. Safe word.
Hey, that worked. That was fantastic, Eli. Thank you for sharing. And I'll encourage everyone. Let's see if we have any additional comments before we sign off. Us is Joe, Joseph Steingraber's. Joe's in Germany right now, and he says very interesting approach. And Joseph he has business here in the United States and around the world, and has become a good friend over the years. And he said, please mention the email address for Eli once again. And it's a great talk. Thanks, Joseph Steingraber. He's a pioneer in his industry, and I'm proud to have him on. So let me put up Eli's email address right here, and we'll say it if you're listening.
I threw it in the comments.
Yeah, it's
too.
modern.
I threw it in the comments.
MODERNREIG@gmail.com. Modern REIG, that stands for Real Estate Investment Group @gmail.com. Or you can call or text area code 317-627-0784. That's 317-627-0784 to catch Eli there. And let's see what Joe says. And Merry Christmas, Joe, to you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. Glad you came on board here. Well, everyone, if you have additional comments, just understand, so the delay can be 15 to 20 seconds. And so if you put in a comment at the very end and we don't catch it, we'll catch it online and certainly answer your questions. There's a couple more comments. There we go. And there we go. Eli, 317-627-0784. That's Eli. That's right. Thank you, Joseph. You're helping get the word out. Exactly. Thank you very much. And Joseph, I love these kind of conversations. One of these days, Eli, we're going to be able to click the button and they just jump in and we sit here and all chat. And there you go. That's the future of this. If someone like Joe gets online, we could just click it and he'd be on with us and we could all talk. And that's coming. And then Eli says, bam, there we go. Anyway, everyone, I want to say thank you, Eli. Thank you for your final words here. And I'm going to wrap the show up here. If you hang out in the green room a little bit longer, that'd be great. I'll catch you as soon as the show closes, and enjoy the refreshments because they're always the best. I'll see you back in the green room. Thanks for joining us, Eli.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Bye-bye. And everybody, that's been the Buyers and Sellers Show. I'm Jay Skinner. You know, you can get a hold of me always, and it's quite the pleasure. And Joe, last comment. I like Chase too. Eli, cool way to do it. Yep, you bet. That's why he's on here, Joseph. This is pretty amazing what Eli's doing, and he is managing to help a lot of people make a lot of money and good things happening. So that's why I brought him on to see him growing over all these years. Eli's comment, thanks, I'm paying someone for the money, might as well be you. There you go. I think you guys got a relationship there. That sounds like fun. So for me, everyone, I'm available, always will be. And there's my contact information as well, j@thejskinner.com. Thank you so much for coming. This has been the Buyers and Sellers Show. See you next Friday morning, 10:35 a.m. live. And then it continues on all the channels: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. And today, Eli was broadcasting live on his Facebook channels as well. How cool was that? Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye now.